full of courage and truth. What happens here is inspiring to the world, and here we are, you know, part of it, and we're very grateful and humbled to be here at the Sundance Film Festival. It couldn't happen without the most extraordinary film department in the entire world. First of all, I want to thank our wonderful college staff who's here, without whom we wouldn't be able to have this reception. Thank you so much. We have so many people who have helped, the student drivers, the students, and Paul has been so helpful to us, who's on our panel. And of course, we're so grateful to our chair, Dr. Heather Addison, with whom we could not have. I feel that I'm the luckiest person in the world to be working with these extraordinary people. Thank you again for being here. Without further ado, here is our wonderful chair.
Welcome, everyone. As Nancy said, my name is Heather Addison, and before we get this going, I'd just like to thank one extremely important person, and that's Francisco Menendez, who brought our students here for over a quarter century and passed away, as we know, 2 years ago. So this is to you, Francisco. Thank you so much. Okay, so the first thing I'd like to do, everyone, is actually introduce Adam Paul, our Student Experience and Outreach Coordinator, because we're going to share a brief highlight reel of our program, and Adam Paul and Professor Carter Martin put that together. So, Professor Paul.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. It's nice to see you. If I haven't met you, let's make sure we meet before you leave, and et cetera, et cetera. This is a phenomenal panel. We're so grateful for you guys to be here, and the thing is starting now. So enjoy the highlight reel, and this is some of the student work from UNLV Film, recent work.
And thanks to George Menchikoff for putting together that opener. Those of you who know George.
Really, we're very proud of our current students and alums. many of whom are in this room that you saw on that screen, so please introduce yourself. I turn it back over to our esteemed chair, Dr. Heather Addison.
Thank you very much, Professor Paul. Okay, I just want to quickly check the time so I can make sure I'm timing myself. Okay, it's 1:30 something. Okay, so I'd like to introduce our esteemed panelists. David Mackenzie, the amazing David Mackenzie, who has just joined us, is a prolific Scottish director and producer known for diverse films that resist easy categorization. He's a co-founder of the Glasgow-based production company Sigma Films. I know you've had films here at Sundance. I saw Hell or High Water when it premiered at Cannes, and that was an incredible experience for me. So welcome not only here, but to the UNLV film faculty. David Mackenzie.
I literally just started last week, so I'm kind of getting my bearings. But I've been overwhelmed by the welcome I've been given and the good vibes coming from UNLV, and I'm really looking forward to getting stuck in and engaging with the students and engaging with trying to kind of build the directing element of the film department. So thank you.
Welcome. And Patrick McKinley, welcome to you, sir. And I'd like to thank Warren Campagna. Where are you, Warren? Who introduced us? Yes. Thank you so much, Warren, one of our current students who introduced us to Mr. McKinley, who is a very renowned American film and television editor, producer, and now director, who reached a major career, what I view as a major career milestone this year with your film at Sundance, which is The Wait, which I hope all of us will be going to see at this festival.
Yeah, thank you very much.
So I hope everyone will join us for The Wait at 8:45. And then I'd like to introduce Hassani Mustafa, who is one of our current students and really has such a long bio at this time that we feel very lucky that he's studying with us. He's part of the Tyler Perry Dream Collective. He's a Ryback Rise Fellow. And I think you recently won the pitch competition at the Cordillera Film Fest in Nevada. So welcome, Hassani. And then I'll say a quick welcome to Professor Adam Paul, who does so many things for us. I would be here all day if I was listing them. But he's had an extensive career as an actor, of course, a director, a producer, and is perhaps most famous for his role on How I Met Your Mother, the naked guy.
And that's what Master of Fine Arts gets you.
Okay, everyone. So we're here to celebrate Sundance, which I think means different things to to different people in the room. To me, it means a place that is the spirit of independent cinema, where we've been able to bring our students for over 25 years, thanks to the support of the Brendan Mann Foundation. I'd like to go to each of our panelists and just ask, what has Sundance meant to you in your journey? And actually, if you don't, I'd like to go to Patrick first, because I believe that Mr. McKinley is on a very tight time schedule. So you're here for the first time as a director. Can you tell us maybe why you aspired to bring your film here and what your experience has been this year, the last year in Park City, 2026?
Yeah, absolutely. This last year was my first year ever here. I came to Park City when I was 15 years old for a ski trip, and I don't ski, so that was my experience with Park City before this. When we started this film, we had an eye on Sundance. We thought, I was just talking to someone, and we were sort of talking about how there's actual Sundance films and what it means to be a Sundance film, and it's stories of bravery and, as you said, and courage and heart and true independent filmmaking. And when we started our shooting, we thought, if we did this in time, if we did this, we could submit, and if we really hit a bullseye, we really strive for the top, we could maybe get into Sundance. And when I got a call, I was in Croatia, and I thought it was a spam call. And then I looked at the wrap-up of the voicemail and it said Sundance. And I thought, it's a pretty nasty joke to play. And then I almost didn't call back. And I thought, I don't call you to tell you you didn't get in, right? So, being here at Sundance it's not, for me, it's not even, you can't categorize it as a high watermark. It's a whole other thing for me. It's the first feature I've ever directed. It means a lot to see all the filmmakers and meet with the students and the film and people who are the next multiple generations coming up, and it's an honor. It's beyond a privilege to be here. And to meet with you guys, studying film. I went to music school, so it's intimidating to be around people who know so much about film at such an early age. And I watched Hell or High Water 80 times before we started to wait. 90 times. And I thought Warren was kidding. He said, "Oh, yeah, David's on. You can't be the same guy, right? It's yeah, right." So it means the world to me. It really does. It's everything, and then a lot more.
So even for someone like you, though, who's been in the industry for decades and has a well-established career in Hollywood, coming to Sundance is something special. And why is that the case?
Well, decades is right. I started when I was in 6, so I was a baby prodigy in this game. But
What does that mean?
Well, editing's not that hard. Just put all the good bits together and then put some music in there. And no, I'm sorry, I lost. Give me the question one more time.
So, if I may, even for people who are well established in the Hollywood industry, this is the spirit of independent cinema here in Sundance in many ways, and so that's still appealing to you to come here with your film.
I think now more than ever, for our business and what gets made at a bigger level, what gets made at a smaller level, what stories can be told in those two, quite frankly, budget ranges and the guardrails that come with those, those budget ranges. I think there's if we're lucky and if I'm being hopeful and if I'm being optimistic, it seems like we might be entering a great time to make independent film and to make things that are small and unique stories. And just watching your guys' clips right there, I can see where the inspiration is. And watching some of these films that came out this year, I think we might be maybe hopefully entering a golden age. It's like in music when, in the early 80s, although I think, the country felt, maybe a little bit oppressed where we were going politically, it was a great time for punk rock music in America, and so maybe we're entering a time now where, the independent spirit is more alive than ever. Sundance is the pinnacle of that. This is the independent spirit. And I was reading something the other day where someone was kind of sort of saying that it might have been taken over or hijacked by bigger things. Of course, it's like, oh, you got a big star in your film, therefore it can't be independent. I can vouch for you right here, right now. We did everything as independent as any film ever made. We did it on a super tight budget, super small schedule. The actors who, have been paid a lot of money, I'm sure, in their career, have had to do things, that they probably hadn't done in a while, to say the least. I think I can speak for Russell. He's sort of, first day he walked in. He goes, where are all the lights? And I said, yeah, door there, that door opens, the sun comes in. And he said, okay, let's do it. Where's the camera? It's in the car in the back there. He said, where's your B camera? I said, well, he's getting a latte right now. And he said, well, an angel dies every time you don't use your B camera. And I said, we can't, he's getting paid by the hour, so we can't, really afford him on every shot. So, Sundance is where we come to celebrate it,
That's beautiful, and I really appreciate that. And I know that you're on a tight time schedule, which is why I've gone to you first. So if this might be a good moment, perhaps, for us to kind of wrap up with Mr. McKinley and just give a big, really thank you to him. Okay, so now I'm going to go to our next panelist, and I can't even really say this and believe that it's reality, but our colleague, David Mackenzie, everyone, that I'm so happy to welcome to UNLV Film. I feel like your career as a filmmaker has sort of embodied this notion of doing something different, transgression. You're not easily categorizable. I know you've had a couple of films at Sundance. It's been a while, and you've also been at Cannes, and of course all across the world. So for you, as coming from Scotland and this festival in the United States, how do you view Sundance, and why maybe were you attracted to it as a place to screen your work, especially 15, 16 years ago?
it's a hard one because it's obviously one of the top 5 great festivals, and so and this sort of calendar year kind of goes around. So sometimes it's about the timing. And in the case of our film Perfect Sense, the last film I had here at the time I came, it was a fantastic opportunity for the film felt like it was suitable for this place, this of all of those 5 festivals, the one thing that makes Sundance special, and I know this is kind of weird, is the fact that it's in a small ski resort in a very concentrated thing, and I know that's about to not be the case. But the concentration of small, everybody in this tiny area all gathering together is part of what makes it so special, and so. For us taking our film, which we just finished, and playing it for a world premiere in front of an audience, and in that film there's 5 minutes of complete silence in the middle of it, and you're sort of waiting for the some noise and
thunderous applause.
There's like a cough. And, oh no, it's going to break the spell. But and that experience of premiering a film anywhere is amazing. But here was really special, and
So
I think what you guys have been saying about the courage and about the independent spirit and all of that, I think of all of those great festivals, this is the one where the more adventurous films find a home, I think.
And I think it's really important to sort of support that. So I'm really honored that you're here with us today to continue on that journey. Hassani, I'd like to ask you a couple of, well, at least we'll start with one question for you, and then we'll keep circling around, and we'll make sure we keep our eye on the time, because we want to make sure you have plenty of time to circulate and chat and drink and all of those important things. So Hassani, you're a student with us, but you're already highly accomplished, and so I'm honored that you've chosen to join UNLV Film. And I know that you've been at other big film festivals as a filmmaker, and I believe this is the first time you've come to a festival where you're not screening a film. Can you talk a little bit about, because that's, normally we bring our students here relatively early in their careers so they can see what it's all about. So what's that like to be here not showing a film? What has Sundance meant to you this year from that perspective?
That's a really good question. It's mixed feelings. For me, Sundance kind of arrived when I was very young. And I was adopted by a master photographer when I was very young. And I made movies around that time. I don't know if it was a coincidence seeing him do his art and then wanting to do it. But I also came from a situation where I didn't have a dad around and my mom was ill. So it's hard to think about being a Sundance filmmaker when you're wondering where your food's gonna come from and where your shoes are gonna come from. But it was David Vanderveen, that guy who adopted me, who showed me Clerks and El Mariachi and things like that, and flat out said it in these exact words. I don't want to hear any bullshit about you being too black or too poor or anything to make it to Sundance, because these guys did it. And I've never forgotten that. It's always categorized Sundance as something to aspire to, and Sundance is defined not by, to me, where it's at or who established it, but by the filmmakers that we try to emulate as a result of that accomplishment. And it's kind of remained that to this day. Because obviously I ain't screening shit here. so I got a little bit of work to do.
Thank you for that, Hassani. And Professor Paul, I'm just so grateful to you for everything that you do for the department, but to focus specifically on your role at Sundance, you kind of took on that mantle from Francisco Menendez, and we've had this long history here. So from the perspective of the student experience and outreach coordinator, like, what does this festival give to our students and to our alums who return year after year?
Well, we're facing a group of people, many of whom could probably articulate that better than myself, but it's an honor to witness it over several years and to accompany the students that we bring, thanks to the generosity of John Brendan, and watch them navigate what is clearly, pardon my language, a fucking circus. But also, everyone is here to participate in that circus. We're all clowns. Positively, that didn't land right. But the experience of meeting other filmmakers, whether they have a film here or not, and as a student recognizing they're not some sitting on a pillar or someone that I can't connect with or relate to, that we're all curious about each other. Like, this is the only place that I've found where you go to a party and people actually ask you who you are and why you're here and what you do, and not in necessarily an aggressive way, but just in a how are you like me kind of way, right? And I think for filmmakers, for student filmmakers, recognizing that there's a community that will support you on every level, on just human interaction level, as well as, God willing, financially and creatively, and to hold you up. This is a very important place, right? And so to be able to show our students that, like, we're in Las Vegas, it's not very far from Los Angeles, right? And yet, it's a million miles away in the desert, et cetera, et cetera. It's getting closer and closer as time goes on. But for our students, who especially, we're so proud of our students that we're one of the most diverse universities in the country. Many of our students work full-time jobs to get through their degree. I have never had more pride in my life for my colleagues. I consider these students my future colleagues, right? I've never had more pride than these people I'm working with, and now I see who have graduated, and you get very fatherly about the whole thing, but it's also like, we're gonna work together, goddammit. So, all of that is connected through an event like this, where that can happen with anybody, not just your professor, not just your fellow students, but you're part of a community when you leave UNLV Film, and even as you go through it. And what you say matters, your story matters, and how you tell it matters. And you must do that. That is the thing that we're about as a film department, and this program is a very important part of that equation that creates incredible work. This highlight reel is bananas. I mean, I don't want to overhype it, but it's kind of bananas, right, Timmy?
That's right.
I've answered your question.
Okay, we're going to wrap up in the next 10 minutes, everyone, but before we wrap up, I want to kind of throw out a question about Robert Redford. This is the last year that we're in Park City. I mean, the UNLV film program, we have a long tradition here, but a much deeper tradition, of course, is Sundance here, the Sundance Institute, established by Robert Redford in 1981. As we know, he passed away in 2025. So any of our panelists, would you like to share a story, an insight, something about a connection to, or even just a memory of a favorite Robert Redford memory or film that you appreciate? I'm going to give you a moment to think about that. It looks like Hassani's ready to jump in.
Well, I'm in a major phase of refining myself, and I have fond memories of just studying Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, of course, and just seeing exactly what made him the legend he is on screen. His understanding of how to be a star, where to be, how to play the camera, and of course his legacy of making sure that voices that would probably ordinarily be ignored aren't. And I am a big fan of anyone who does that. So.
And that's the foundation of the Sundance Institute, and I know we've all been, we've been lucky enough to get into films, it's been very, very difficult. This is almost the year without films at Sundance because it's so hard to get into them this year. But before each film is a tribute to Robert Redford and stepping beyond the screen. He was thinking not just about his own career and not just about the career of people already in Hollywood, but how can we bring in new voices? And David, it looks like you were going to add something about this.
I mean, one of my favourite Redford films is Jeremiah Johnson, which I believe he shot here, and as a result of doing so, he bought the property which became the centre of Sundance. So Jeremiah Johnson, which is when he was an early star, he was able to persuade the producers to work with him so that he sort of effectively was shooting on his own property, and made this very brave film, about an isolated person that's got a lot of great sort of snowy texture to it, and it's I mean, I don't know how many people have seen it, but it's a really interesting movie. And I think that's where it all started. So that's my film.
Anything you'd like to add, Professor Paul?
Of course, supporting the whole thing, and to piggyback on what you had to say, his lasting impact will be about his generosity, right? Like this is an event that is about giving back in so many ways. Not just the event, but the institute, et cetera, et cetera. And I take a lot from that in my teaching, in my work with UNLV Film, and at UNLV at large. Like my life now is, I was an actor for a very long time, right? And that can get very selfish, and you're hustling for work and that kind of thing. And you're a sole operator in your business, but the greatest gift for me as an educator and continuing to be a filmmaker and a creative professional is that it's all about service. Everything I do is about serving a story, an audience, my students, my faculty members, my coworkers, the institution, because everything, it's all connected, right? That is, I believe, the spirit that Redford started all of this with. And there's a wonderful clip they play of him speaking before each film, and his comments there are inspiring. They chose well, obviously, with the clip. But that legacy will last for a long time, and I carry it with me into what I do because I know that you guys are literally the future of cinema. And this place and this event is very much built on a foundation keeping that in mind.
The Sundance Institute, all that stuff and the teaching, all that's going to stay here, isn't
The Sundance Institute will stay. That is correct. So part of the spirit of Sundance will remain in the Park City area. And I will say I have a very quick anecdote about being up at the resort. What do they call it? The Sundance Resort?
The lodge.
The lodge. So I was having dinner there one magical time, and I guess he was there. Bob was there with his family. So we weren't able to go in, but after they left, the staff allowed us to walk in and just breathe in the atmosphere that had been there because Bob was there. And I found a little card that was for his place saying that was like, Bob, and I have that card to this day. It means so much to me. And having all of you here, of course, means so much to me. I like to believe that the heart of cinema is in Las Vegas, and it's represented by all of you. So we would like to be your community, not just today and tomorrow, but every day into the future. So I'd like to wrap up by saying UNLV Film forever. And I hope you have a lot